I'm Tara.
And I'm Ashley.
Each week, two movies battle it out in a bracket-style competition to find the ultimate romantic comedy.
This is The Trope Report.
Hey guys.
Welcome to the first episode of The Trope Report.
I am so excited that we're finally doing this. We've been talking about it forever.
I know. Should we tell them how this came about?
I think we have to.
So Tara and I work together, and we were always asking each other for rom-com recs.
There is nothing better than coming home after work and throwing on a classic romantic comedy.
But we didn't always like each other's recs.
So one day, after many arguments, we decided to make a bracket to figure out which romantic comedy really is the best.
But it had to be fair, so we came up with scoring criteria based on what every good romantic comedy should be.
Then we came up with a list of 64 movies and ranked them 1 to 16 seed based on their Rotten Tomato scores and put them in a 64 movie bracket.
Now, each week, we're going to be watching two movies from a matchup, discuss them, and give them scores to determine who moves forward in the bracket.
This week is The Wedding Date going up against Say Anything. The Wedding Date is sitting at 16 seed with an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes, while Say Anything is a number 1 seed with 98%.
All right, should we get into this?
Yes, I think we should, but let me just preface and say it pains me to say that The Wedding Date is a 16 seed with 11% score. It is an outrage. This is a family favorite. I grew up on this. And I know this isn't a family favorite for you.
No.
This is going to be a battle. Let's get in with the synopsis. Okay. Kat, played by Deborah Messing, hires Nick, Dermot Mulroney, a male escort, to pretend to be her boyfriend while attending her sister's wedding in England. Her ex-fiancé, Jeffrey, will be at the wedding as the best man, and she wants to make him jealous and potentially win him back. With all this time spent together, over the wedding weekend, of course they're gonna fall in love.
All right, let's discuss. What were your likes of the movie? Like, what made this such a family classic for you?
Honestly, it was my dad. He loves this
Really?
movie.
Okay.
Yeah, he loves it. Me, my dad, my brother love romantic comedies. My mom likes more action. So he always threw this one on. I'm not gonna lie to you, when I watched this movie this week, I was at home. So my dad was there. He was throwing in the good lines.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's just a classic. Okay, so your likes?
Look, I can see why this movie got an 11%. I hate to say it because I know you love it, but I mean, my favorite part of the movie was Amy Adams, the sister. She was a delight in it. She was gorgeous.
A delight. She's atrocious throughout the whole
Yes,
movie.
but her acting
Fantastic
is so
actress.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
She's gorgeous. Her acting's great. I thought Deborah Messing, I'm so sorry to say this to you, but I thought she was cringe.
She's not the highlight of the movie.
Dermot Mulroney definitely outshined her, I thought.
He's fantastic.
But, I mean, okay, let me give some pleasures. I loved the moment where the ex-boyfriend goes up to introduce himself to Dermot Mulroney. And he's like, yeah, but this girl I really, like, brought another guy. And then
So
she
you
comes
think
up.
that it's gonna be Kat?
Well, in the moment, I was like, yes, because it's like the moment everyone dreams of. Their ex being so jealous of the new guy.
True.
But then that didn't even end up being what happened. I mean, let's get into what did happen, which was the was it an ex-fiance or
Ex-fiance.
The ex-fiance had an affair with her sister.
True.
Amy Adams.
I mean, that's outrageous, but did you see that coming? No.
I didn't see it coming.
Which I thought was a fantastic plot twist.
I guess, but that doesn't
You did
really
not
have to
expect
do
that at
with-
all, and you can't tell me otherwise.
Yeah, that was a good plot twist. I didn't see that one coming.
Okay, how could you just not fall in love with Nick, though?
That's
He is
Dermot
so
Mulroney.
dreamy.
He is dreamy.
He is
I
so
just felt like-
suave.
so I did write down some of his quotes.
So did I.
If you look people in the eye, they'll never notice what you're wearing. Which I feel like he had these quotes that sounded great but meant nothing. Because that's absolutely not true. If I look someone in the eye, like, they're still going to see what I'm wearing.
Okay, but he's just saying be confident, stare people in the eye, and then you won't even care. I think his quotes were fantastic. I'm going to hit you with another quote by him. and he said, "I think I would miss you even if we never met."
That is good.
Dreamy.
That is a great quote.
Dreamy.
He also had, "I'd rather fight with you than make love with anyone else." But the thing is, even that quote, I felt like both of these quotes I think would work better with different couple.
I feel like you're just giving me dislikes.
Yeah,
If you
I'm
just
trying
want to
to
jump to
give you
dislikes, lay them on me.
Okay, yeah, I think both of those quotes would fit better with a different couple. Like, I'd rather fight with you than make love with anyone else. Like, that wasn't really their relationship the entire movie. It wasn't like they were enemies to lovers. Like, it just didn't fit them. I thought she had no personality. Like, how would you describe her personality to me?
Neurotic. She's
Not
not
in a charming way, though. Like, I just feel like she had no personality other than...
I will give you that Nick is carrying the movie,
Yeah.
but I think that you can't help but like her.
I didn't really like her.
A dislike.
Yeah,
Well,
sorry.
for my dislikes,
Mhm.
I can't even think of one.
You can't think of a single one with this 11% movie?
I can't. The one thing that I could think of that was a little cringe for me is when she's pouring water down her shirt at the cricket game.
I have that written down as... Because it's so cringe. I
It's
was
so
like,
cringe.
every scene of her trying to be hot is just making me cringe.
Yeah.
Even when she, like, takes him back to the boathouse.
Okay, yeah, that's a little... First off, why are you going back to a boat when you
Yes,
could
I was
just be in the
like,
room?
You're literally in a room with a bed right now.
I
And
know.
you decide to go on your dad's boat.
I agree. And then the fact that the dad knows in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
So awkward.
Maybe that's it. But other than that, for the most part, I did not feel cringe during the movie. This is a family... I'm just gonna... This is what my dad quoted.
Okay.
Literally, as I was watching the movie, he comes by. It's the scene where she finally finds out that Jeffrey has been sleeping with her sister. And my dad goes, "It's just a well done, well balanced, well acted movie. What can I say?"
Wow. That is some
High praise.
from your
High
dad.
praise. It's true. It's a great
Well-acted,
movie.
Debatable.
All I'm saying is, I think there's worse movies. It cannot be the 16 seed. 11%, don't agree.
I guess there are worse movies. Maybe it's 11% because at the time that it came out, like, the cringy movies weren't as big as they are now.
Maybe.
You know, like, now they make movies purposefully bad.
True.
I.e. any, like, Hallmark Christmas movie. We love to watch them because they're bad.
That's true.
But they didn't have those back then, I feel like. Or maybe that's just the Gen Z in me talking.
I don't know. All I'm saying is top movie. Top movie. But let's not linger too long. Give me the synopsis for Say Anything.
All right. I mean, I love Say Anything, so it's a rough episode.
This
for
is
the
a
two
battle.
of us. Yeah, this is a big matchup for us. All right, so Lloyd, played by John Cusack, is an average high school student with a big heart who seeks to charm Diane, played by Iona Sky, I think that's how it's pronounced.
I think so.
An aloof, beautiful girl with straight A's and a full ride to college in England. Diane, who's had her head buried in books throughout high school, agrees to be just friends with him. But Lloyd shows her a world outside of school, and she falls for him along the way.
And your likes
So
for
many
this
likes.
infamous movie
I mean, John Cusack in this movie
is so bad.
No, I think he's so dreamy. He, like...
Dreamy?
Yes, because he just loves her instantly. He's like, who is this girl? I want to be around her no matter the cost. Like,
That's why I think it's crazy. He instantly is obsessed with her.
In-
All guys are obsessed with her.
all guys are obsessed with her, but I feel like he sees her. Like, he sees her
Maybe he
in a way that
sees
they
her,
don't.
but he sees her a little too much.
At minute
the
one.
only thing he wants to do, I'm sorry to jump to dislikes. You know my passion for this movie,
Tara
or
hates this
lack
movie.
of passion. He immediately is like, my only job that I want to do is
Yeah.
be with her. Are
That is
you
so
crazy?
romantic. Look,
How
okay.
could you be in love with someone like that?
I will say this, like, in real life, if my friend came to me and was like, oh, I'm
Yeah,
seeing this
what would you
guy,
say?
I'm like, oh, what does he do for a living? Oh, he, like, teaches karate. I think that's cute. And I'm like, oh, like, what's his passion? Oh, he just likes being my boyfriend. Like, that's his
I
only...
would say unstable.
I would call it, like, oh, he's not ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
But
so
it's
how
so
could
romantic. To, like...
I don't agree.
Please, I wish a guy's full-time job was just to love me. That would be
fine.
amazing.
Only if he's a billionaire. Like, otherwise, I don't see it.
I feel like if he wasn't so charming, yeah, his character would be like, what? Like, he would be such a creepy little karate kid following her around, but because he's so charming and likable, like,
there are charming and likable sides to him, but also very cringe and awkward. And I know I'll probably get hate for that, but I think I would prefer someone like Nick, so suave. I mean, a lot of good lines.
I mean, let's walk through it. So he's calling her up after graduation. He's like, I loved your speech. Do you want to come to this graduation party with me? She reluctantly agrees. Looks gorgeous.
Okay, outrageous outfit for a party, though.
Yeah, because she doesn't know any better. Like, she's
just had to make the point.
To the world.
Just
and
had
maybe
to make
it's
the
because I
point.
relate to her, because that was literally me in high school. Did not go to parties. My friends and I would just...
You came out in an outrageous outfit that?
Well, maybe. I would have if I was invited to something like that. But he takes her to this party. He's the key master. Everyone loves him. Like, I feel like that's very charming. It's like everyone at the school loves him. They're all like, oh, he's the nicest guy.
I guess that's why I was confused at the beginning. I get where you're coming from, that I guess he's so nice, which is why everyone likes him. But at first I was confused why everyone was saying hi to him at the party, because I thought that he was this, like, weird kid.
No, I think he's just, maybe he's not part of the popular crowd, but he's on these, like, outskirted friend groups where he has a few close friends, but he knows everyone.
Yeah.
And I think that's, like, a really charming place to be. I love the scene where...
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
I will agree with that.
I love the scene where... So basically Lloyd is friends with 3 girls, right? That's his friend group.
Okay, I did write that. Are you talking about the guys scene?
Flag. Well, no, I'm talking about the scene where the 3 of them are talking, and they're like, you really think a girl like Diane would fall for Lloyd? And they all take a second, and they're like, yeah. Just because they know he's so charming and such a nice guy. I just love it.
You're selling and making a lot of good points, but when I was watching this movie, I did not feel like this. I felt mostly cringe. I felt like I believed that they were obsessed with each other.
Yeah.
No, they sold it.
Yeah.
But
the way, like,
I thought it was unstable. Like, it was so crazy and extreme. Like, how could I throw myself into this movie? Because it just seems like off the hinge, these two.
Huh.
Does that make sense?
Did you ever, like, have a boyfriend in high school? I think this is where the disconnect is. Because I feel like high school love is just, like, you throw
outrageous.
It's outrageous. You throw your whole self into this person. Everything is so heightened at that age, where it's like the highs are the highest highs, the lows are the lowest lows. Like, it's just...
I guess I'm just too logical for this.
I think maybe you're too logical
I
for this.
just don't understand.
Because it's just like every scene he just gravitates toward her. Like, I just feel like John Cusack.
But you're saying that now as adults you still are feeling like this is some great thing?
It takes me back.
It seems crazy.
It is like, do I think they worked out in the end? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I thought it was like a really, even the ending was just so beautiful. Of like, she's terrified and he's like, once it dings, and, well, should we give them context? She's going to school in England. In the end of the movie, he decides to go with her. And she's terrified of flights the entire time. And so he's holding her hand, they're taking off, and he's like, once the no smoking sign turns off,
they're safe.
You're safe. And so they're holding hands, you're waiting, the screen cuts to black, and you hear the ding, and you're like, everything's gonna be okay with them. Like, they took the risk, and it worked out. I don't know, it's just so beautiful. I love this movie.
I don't know. We'll see.
I thought it brought...
You know what will decide it? The rankings, the numbers, the facts.
I think we should jump into criteria.
I think we should. What are we starting with?
Should we start with tropes?
Yeah.
We are the trope report.
Let's do tropes. So for the wedding date, we have crazy best friend.
Okay.
TJ. They always have a crazy best friend.
That's a good one. Yeah.
They're forced to share a bed. They're forced to be close. Classic.
That is classic.
You know you're going to fall in love if you're sharing a small space.
Yeah.
Fake relationship.
Fake relationship
Fake it
is
till you
one of the
make it.
big
100%.
five.
Yeah.
The one that I have that you haven't mentioned yet is the classic run after someone. You realize you were wrong and you run after them, and then they're not there where you thought they would be.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's 4 tropes in one movie. That's heavy packed with tropes.
Yeah. I mean, I have some tropes written down. I actually don't know if any of these are even like, I think they're tropes, but maybe not commonly used.
Okay.
But like that golden retriever boy who's just obsessed with someone. Is that a trope?
Who's obsessed with someone? Oh, are we
Boy.
talking about Say Anything
For Say
now?
Anything
Oh,
now.
yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, we're moving to Say Anything. Tropes.
Yeah. So, golden retriever boy, hyper focused on the shy girl.
I have
Yeah, that's a
opposites
trope,
attract.
right?
Opposites
Yeah.
attract. That's a trope.
Yeah, they're opposites. I mean, I feel like this movie just proves like nice guys can finish first, which I don't know if that's a trope, but I think it's a nice message.
Nice message, maybe about how lighthearted it is.
Yeah.
Probably not trope. So all I'm counting for this movie is
Whoa, I'm
one
not done.
trope.
One of the most talked about rom-com moments in history is the boombox above the head. The
Again.
grand romantic gesture.
Okay.
That is constantly referenced in cinema.
Fine. Grand romantic gesture.
I
Fair
mean-
enough. Okay. 2 tropes.
Yeah.
And our other one had 4 tropes. So I'm just saying.
I mean, did you write any tropes down for Say Anything? Did you even
I
try?
wrote opposites attract.
That's the only one you have written down. There must be more.
I also wrote insta love. Like when you're like they
Love it.
instantly like love
Yeah.
at first sight.
That's
He has
true.
that. She might not really at first, but he's like obsessed, instantly
Yeah.
in love with her.
I mean, I could see us giving a wedding date a little bit higher just because I
Mm-hmm.
associate tropes with like cheesiness, I guess. And a wedding date definitely brought more cheese.
Yeah.
Um,
So
Yeah, I can see
my suggestion is a trope score for the wedding date of a 7 and a trope score of Say Anything as a 5.5.
a 7, that's pretty high though.
It's
Don't you
4
think?
tropes in one movie.
Okay, well, what do you think would be considered like the tropiest movie? Like,
That's
what
a good
would be considered
question.
a 10?
I mean, it would have to encompass everything.
Yeah.
I would just say
Okay.
that for those,
Maybe-
I think that's pretty high.
Maybe 6 versus 7.
6 versus 7. You're
Just
doing
because
4
Say-
tropes against 2.
Well, that's because Say Anything creates a cinematic moment that's referenced forever. You know, like people are constantly referencing this scene and Say Anything. Like I feel like it has such its own moment where it almost created a trope. Like now, if you see a movie and someone's holding a boombox or playing a song outside of someone's window,
Mm-hmm.
like Say Anything started it. It practically created a trope. I feel like we should give a little more credit for that.
But that is the trope of grand romantic gesture. That's not the first movie to ever do that. It
Yeah.
just created an iconic scene, but it didn't create an iconic trope.
Yeah, I guess.
That's why I have it at a 5.5.
Fine.
5.5
But-
for Say Anything, 7 for
Yeah.
Wedding Date.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I need to write this down.
Write it down.
All right, what's our next one?
Lightheartedness. This is key to a romantic comedy.
I feel like you're trying to like bamboozle me right now.
I'm not bamboozling. I'm laying
Okay.
down facts. It's your job to bring it.
Okay.
Lightheartedness is so key to a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
I'm not signing up for this movie to be sad, you know, to get
Okay.
swept away in these different things.
Yeah.
I want to be there and just be having a great time.
I agree.
So, give me your lightheartedness.
Lightheartedness. Okay, well let's go over it. Wedding Date has huge cheating moment.
It does.
I mean, also I just find her whole family depressing. Like
Her
just that
family-
that's like not close. Like they don't seem very close.
Well, her mom and her sister definitely are troubling. I love
Yeah.
her dad. Her
Yeah.
stepdad's great.
He seems nice.
Mhm.
So I'd say like the serious moments in the wedding date are
Yeah.
the fact that like her sister literally betrayed everyone in their lives.
Well, her sister cheats because they were together.
Yeah.
Kat and the fiance were together, and the sister was
Yeah,
sleeping with him,
so-
so they were cheating. Yeah, that's a major, and I mean that's a big part of it. That's
Yeah.
a big scene. She finds out last. Everyone
Mm-hmm.
else knows about it. I agree. I have that written down.
Say anything. I mean, her dad. Basically,
But there's a lot of heavy
the
stuff in this.
The conflict in Say Anything is like her dad is being investigated by the IRS. She
Mhm.
worships her dad.
They have a weird relationship.
Yeah.
Constantly made me feel uncomfortable, which was another side of the movie that I disliked.
I mean, her dad has just like convinced her that he's the only person in the world that can be trusted.
Mhm.
You know, like
It's just
she
so
didn't have friends in high
unhealthy.
school. She only had her dad. She worships
Mhm.
him. She works at the retirement home he works at.
Mhm.
And he's investigated by the IRS, and it turns out he's been stealing money from like old people after they die,
Mhm.
and it kind of like shatters her world, her understanding, her trust.
Mhm.
But I think they do bring it back around. Like
He goes to jail.
he goes to jail, but I think they bring it back around with comedy. Like when they have Lloyd visit the jail, I think that's like a funny scene.
They like to sprinkle in some things of comedy to try and lighten it a little bit, but there are a lot of heavy stuff. Like she's struggling to figure out who she is, what she wants with her future. She's regretting everything that happened in her past. Lloyd literally starts the movie with saying, "I want to get hurt by being with her. Like I don't care. I'm putting myself out there,
Yeah.
and I want to be like I don't care if I get hurt along the way." Her dad's literally stealing money, goes to jail. Those are a lot of heavy things.
Yeah, I mean, I do think they incorporate comedy throughout it.
Mhm.
With his nephew is hilarious. The girlfriends are hilarious. I mean, you could do crazy best friend as a trope for Say Anything as well, if we should go back, because he does
Yeah.
have 3 crazy best friends.
Well, one's the crazy one. The other ones
One
are
is absolutely crazy. The other
Yeah.
are just eccentric, I guess
Yeah.
I'd say. Yeah, I mean, I do think the wedding day should be slightly higher for
Mhm.
lightheartedness.
I think
Doesn't bring as much depth
so. Mhm.
as Say Anything does.
So what are we scoring?
I mean, are we comparing it to the most lighthearted thing that could ever happen? I would
They
say
both have.
they're mid.
Yeah.
I'd say they're both
I would
mid.
say. What do we think about 7 for wedding date, 6 for Say
Yeah.
Anything?
That's exactly what I was gonna
Okay.
say.
Perfect. Quality.
I mean,
Now, fine.
Say Anything is
I will give you this.
so much more quality, so much more depth,
Yes.
such better character development. You can see why these two fall for each other.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost a 10 for quality.
Okay. That's
I would say.
outrageous.
That is not outrageous. That's a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. Clearly, someone agrees with me. 9. A 9 for quality.
I would settle for a 9.
Okay.
I think it is a quality movie. It has stood the test of
It
time.
has great actors.
It has great actors. Agreed. I mean, it's John Cusack and Joan Cusack. Those are the good ones.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the
I think this guy was good. I think she did go
she's
into...
no, she's
Yeah.
great. I just don't know her from anything else.
I'm sure she's done other things.
And I'm just saying that the wedding date. Now I agree with you. Quality might be higher for Say Anything, but the wedding date does have a stellar cast too.
Does it? They're not considered, like, a masterclass in acting. They're considered actors, sure. They've been in other things.
Higher than mid-level, though, I would say.
Okay, I mean, the quality of the movie itself was not, though. Even if the actors were fine. I mean, it goes back to the plot was, I think, very light. It would jump to things. It felt very like they had where they wanted to end up in mind and didn't, like, plan out along the way as well. And I think the characters were super underdeveloped. I mean, what's the main guy's name?
Nick.
Nick. Nick's basically his only personality trait is being a hooker. Like,
No, his main personality is that he's suave and like all-knowing.
yeah.
He has the best lines.
Yeah, he just says things about love that kind of make sense in the moment, but like what's his personality? Just that he
Fair enough.
yeah.
Fair enough.
Like I felt like both of those characters were super underdeveloped. I'd almost say 6 for quality if you want it to be higher than I don't know if I could go higher than a 6.
Are you serious?
I thought it was.
You know I had this as an 8.
You had it as an 8. That's insane.
I just love
That's
it.
absolutely insane.
But I'm
The
listening
quality
to your
is
points.
So low.
I'm listening to your points. 6 it is.
Okay.
Say anything is a 9.
Yeah.
Fine. Fair enough.
All right. What do we have next?
Comedy.
Comedy.
Now I was laughing, I think, at both of these. Again, I'm a little biased with the wedding date because me and my dad were cracking up and stuff. So, slightly biased. Say anything, I don't know.
Say anything I thought was so funny.
I didn't laugh that much, but I know that I'm being biased.
Yeah, because you hated John Cusack in the movie.
Yes.
I mean, I don't really remember laughing in the wedding date.
TJ is so funny. The friend.
TJ, the crazy girl.
Yeah, she's outrageous. I feel like all the characters have little funny moments throughout it.
Yeah.
They're all a little bit outrageous.
I think the character I liked the most was the sister's fiance.
I
I thought he was the
Edward.
most likable. I almost wish the movie was just all about him.
All about Edward. He was
Yeah.
just like a little too like blah though. I don't know.
I don't know. They're both not known for being like super funny movies. I
Yeah,
thought
they're
Say
not super
Anything
funny.
Had this cute little boy who was just following him around doing karate all the time.
But he was
so
barely.
funny.
I did think, oh, cute kid, but he was really not in it that much.
My parents were cracking up.
The one scene that I like for comedy and Say Anything that I did think was funny is that he freaking walks by her at the beginning and has like a photo taken as he walks by.
Is funny.
I was like, that is so outrageous. I did give a chuckle.
Yeah, he
and-
tells his friends like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get a photo with her," and you think he's gonna ask her
Yeah.
to have the photo, but he just stands
Walks
behind
by,
her.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny, and I did think it was funny the scene
Like,
with the guys because he is
Yes!
all
Oh my
depressed
gosh,
and
that
he
is a
was
funny
like,
scene.
okay, maybe I should switch it up and hang out with guys for a change.
Yeah.
And he goes
and
there
he goes and they're all
and
just,
they're ridiculous. They're so
ridiculous.
dumb.
They're clearly only there because they couldn't get any girls.
Yeah.
They're also
That
dumb.
was a funny scene.
I mean, I thought the scene where he calls her initially to get the date is funny because he's just like freaking out. The dad picks
but
up.
see, I don't think that's funny. I think he's so
When he says-
cringe at that.
She's like, oh yeah, I got your note. Like, we met at the mall. Which, by the way, he's fell in love because he says they got lunch together. He sat across the food court from her.
It's
Did
all
not
just
talk to her.
ridiculous.
But she's like, oh yeah, we had lunch at the mall. And he's like, oh, you remember? And she's like, no, it was on the note.
Mhm.
I thought that was funny. And then he's talking on the phone with her, and he's like, I have so many tips, like just trying to get her to go out with him.
He's
I have so many
desperate.
tips on doing this. And then she's like, well, and he's like, I don't have any tips at all. Like, yeah, he is.
There were
I guess it could be conceived as being desperate. But
yeah.
I thought it was like,
to me, I felt like it wasn't like I was dying laughing. It was like, oh my god, this guy is cringe. He's so awkward.
And
He's
to me-
desperately trying to.
to me, it was like charming and funny.
Oh
Like,
my god. I don't know.
so
I would say
happy.
I chuckled at both.
They both should be in the middle.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, you think they should be even, 6 and 6?
6 and 6.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
6 and 6 it is.
On to the big one.
Romance.
Romance.
Say Anything has to win romance. It's like,
I don't. Let's just get. Okay. Here's what I have written down for romance for the wedding date. You can see them slowly falling in love with each other. You can see that. They start from just strangers. They're put in this close proximity, and they're totally falling for each other the whole time. When he goes and drops off her purse at the bachelorette party, and all the girls convince her to make out with him.
cringe.
No, cringe.
I thought it was so cringe. I was like,
Are you
what
kidding
is
me?
going on right now?
It's a bachelorette, and they're drinking, and they just want to have a good time.
Yeah.
You can see when he opens his eyes, he's totally falling in love with her. Then when they fight the next morning, and then they make up with their dancing, and they're just made for each other with their dancing.
I did like that scene.
Yeah, the
I
dancing
did
was
like,
so
Like they're
fun.
mad at each other. Even though it didn't really make sense to me as to why they were mad at each other. It felt like underbased, like, oh, we want them to be mad at each other so they can make up.
Because
but with no real
she
reason.
can basically took out all the money
took out
because
money
she
'cause
was going to
he's-
sleep with him and
Yeah.
pay him. But then she pretended in the morning, like, what happened?
Yeah.
And wasn't going to pay. So then he's like, what the heck? I know you knew you were coming here to get something. You have all the money. You knew what you were doing.
Yeah, but he said I wasn't even gonna charge you, so he didn't want the money. So
He didn't want because he's falling in love with her.
Yeah, so I was like, why are they mad? They both got what they wanted. It just didn't make sense. It felt like underbaked.
I don't know.
Um,
I think it was
I mean, I
fantastic.
think Say Anything is just the epitome of people being head over heels in love with each other.
But to me, it's nauseating. It's too much. I like a build up. I can't get on board with this instant in love obsessed. I don't
I mean, I think
understand.
it's more than. I mean, I think he's instantly infatuated with her. He's like, this girl is so smart. Like, he has reasons. This girl's so smart. He listens to her speech, and she's like, now he knows
I'll give you
feels
this.
like she was left out.
I'll give you this. I believe they sell it well. That they're like obsessed
Their
and
chemistry.
they
10
have
times
great
better
they
than
have
did.
great chemistry.
They have great chemistry.
I will give you that.
Like, in every scene, he's just feels like his whole body's gravitating towards her.
It's too much for me. But I believe the
romance.
chemistry.
That's romance, baby.
I don't know. I just want to throw it back to the one quote where he says, I'd rather fight with you than make love to anyone else. I love that scene. That's when you see, like, okay, they're really falling for each other now.
Yeah, but
He
I mean,
really cares about
Say
her.
Anything, you have this guy fumbling over himself trying to win her over. Then you have the boombox scene. Then you have when she comes back to him saying, like, take me back. And he's like, are you here because you need someone or because you need me? And he pauses and he said, never mind, I don't care. Like, he loves her so much that he's like, I don't care if you're just with me because you need someone right now. I would love you no matter what.
Let me ask you this. Which one made you feel more single?
Say Anything absolutely made me feel more single. Absolutely. I was like, where is my Lloyd?
Oh my god. I would literally...
I mean, there are so many great quotes in Say Anything.
If a guy came up to me and said he was obsessed with me, just wanted to be with me 24/7, wouldn't you just think, like, get off my back? This is too much. You're suffocating me. Like, I just can't get on board with that romance. Maybe it's someone else's, but that's why I couldn't rank it as high.
What do you think they should be ranked? Don't even tell me Wedding Date's higher.
No, I gave Wedding Date
higher?
a 9 and Say Anything an 8.
A 9?
Listen, they're close.
That is, you have a Wedding Date, a 9 on a scale of 1 to 10.
I just love it.
They have nothing in common. There's no reason why these two people should be in love. You know, if you're looking just at personality, what makes these two people compatible with each other? Nothing. They're just at a wedding together. She's literally just a girl and he's literally just a guy. They have nothing in common.
So that's just the way it is.
We know nothing about their lives. Like, what does she
but
do
are
for a
we
living? What does she do for
supposed to
fun?
in a romantic comedy? Romantic comedies are
absolutely,
fun,
you
but
should.
they're fun and flirty.
You should know.
And you
what
just
makes
are
these
living
people
in a
tick.
la la
Okay,
land.
let's look at, like, the pinnacle of rom-coms, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. You know everything about these characters. You know that they both love basketball. You know that they both love, like, riding motorcycles together, and they both value family. Like, you know what makes these people tick. And Say Anything, you know this as well. They're both super kind-hearted people. Like, Lloyd is just the kindest guy ever. What is her name? Anna Skye's character. Anna Skye's character takes care of, like, the elderly all day, and she just has such, like, a high moral compass. Like, you just see why these characters are together.
I mean, but it's not the movie's fault that it's just over a wedding weekend. That's just the premise.
But you can learn about someone over a weekend. The movie makes no attempt to tell us about
We
these
know what her
people.
favorite band was,
The
how she
wedding-
decorated her room, how she goes on her tiptoes, and how, you know, she tiptoes throughout her life.
I think we don't know anything about these people. Why do you think it has an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes?
I don't know.
Because there is no character development. It's like they bounce from trope to trope with no depth.
So what would you rank the romance?
I could agree to Say Anything being an 8, but I think Wedding Date's like a 6.
I just don't know if I agree. But again,
And
I know I'm being
again,
biased. I
like-
just love this movie.
I preferred the sisters' romance to their romance.
The sister's romance.
The sister and
who's
the
cheating
husband.
on the husband.
She didn't cheat on, like, that was a long time ago. He said, like, it was when they had first started dating, he knew she was seeing another
Mhm.
guy. He just didn't know that it was her friend. But, like,
It's his best man.
Yeah, but it just felt like they had more chemistry than the main two characters. Like, the way that they would laugh and hold each other, it was like, I don't know, I just didn't feel much chemistry between the two main people.
I don't know. I see where you're coming from. So you said a 6 and an 8,
Mm-hmm.
and I said a 9 and an 8.
Yeah.
So we know that Say Anything's an 8. We're agreeing
Yeah,
on
I'm
that.
fine with that. I'm fine with Say Anything being an 8, but a 9 for the wedding date is ridiculous.
What would be your thoughts on a 6.5? There's total some romance in this for sure.
Fine, I'll let you do a 6.5.
Fine. That's it.
Okay, so we've got an 8
Add
and
them
a
up.
6.5.
Mm-hmm.
We have the wedding date at 32.5 points and Say Anything with 34.5 points.
I guess we have our winner.
We have our winner. I think this is how it should be. This was
I
how it
think
should have turned out.
this is it, I guess. I have to give up.
You can still treasure it in your heart.
Yeah, I do. I do. That was a battle, but it's week 1. We have plenty of weeks ahead of us.
Yeah.
What do we have next week?
Next week we have Set It Up in the Kissing Booth. 2 Netflix originals.
Those are fun.
Those are fun movies.
Yeah, those are fun. That'll be a good one.
Yeah.
Don't forget to check out the bracket on our website. The link is in the description. We'll also be posting the final scores.
Send us your thoughts on this week's episode at thetropereport@gmail.com. Do you agree with Tara or do you agree with me?
Or do you think we're both crazy?
Episode 2, Set It Up versus the Kissing Booth, should already be out. That's all for now.
Until next time, keep it romantic.